This is something that your boy ain't never seen. I ain't never seen no bonus. I ain't never worked. Welcome to Debt Free in IT. I'm your host, Mike. This podcast is for anyone who's looking to get into the IT industry, whether it's for a career change or you're just interested. I think you come to the right place. Today's episode, we're breaking down the insights from Dice's tech salary report for 2024. So I appreciate the folks at Dice for putting this report together. I have a link in the description so you can download it and check it out yourself. So the first thing I'd like to highlight from this report is the average tech salary for 2024. So the average tech salary came in at roughly around $112,521, with that roughly being about a $1,300 growth since the year 2023. So the average salary, like we all know, is going to greatly depend on the area that you stay in. So if you stay in a small town, a country town, somewhere similar to where I'm at, that's real small, real rural area, a lot of times the average salary in my area may be a little bit lower. But then when I look at the closest city close to me, roughly about every job I see that's not an entry-level role, a lot of times they're roughly around that six-figure mark or pretty much knocking on the door of six figures, maybe about 10, 15 grand off, somewhere around there. But a lot of times, like I said, this is going to greatly depend on the area that you stay in. So one question I have for you, do you think this amount seems like the average in your area? So if the average in your area is higher or if the average you think is lower, let me know in the comments. So the next thing I want to highlight is the average tech salary by state. So roughly the top 5 states was New York at number 1. They came in roughly about $121,246. California came in at number 2, roughly around $120,942. Georgia came in at number 3 with $120,768. So Atlanta, Georgia, that area has been booming for a while. So like I said, that's one of the probably top places as far as tech in my eyes, because like I said, it's every time I talk to an IT professional down there, I meet a lot of professionals that own their own managed service companies down in Atlanta, Georgia, down that way. So like I said, the IT world is booming. When y'all look on Indeed and look at different jobs in that area, a lot of times they're often paying pretty well when I compare it to the same type of role for the area that I'm in. So Georgia coming in at number 3. That was a big deal there. So number 4 comes in with Virginia at $117,073. Then number 5, we got Florida with $116,939. So that was the top 5. So then when I went down and tried to find North Carolina roughly came in at number 9 with $106,844. So hopefully we can move on up the ladder, because I do know that there's a lot of places where tech is starting to boom, especially up in the Charlotte area. You got a lot of companies that's starting to form a tech hub, pretty much in the Charlotte area. So I do expect to see maybe next year on this report that North Carolina be up above number 9. So those are the top places for tech. And as you know, that there's other places that wasn't mentioned, but like I said, I got the link in the description. You can check it out for yourself, but those were the top 5 states when it comes to tech salaries. So another section of this average salary report from Dice, they asked seasoned IT professionals what's been the biggest or the most interesting change in tech over the past 20 years. So at the top of the list was, of course, AI and machine learning. So AI, machine learning, I don't think that's going anywhere. So as we all know, as we all see, AI is being embedded into everything. So now is the time, well, the time was probably a couple years ago, but now is definitely the time to get comfortable with AI, learning how to use it to your advantage, learning how to use it to make your productivity better. There's many use cases for AI, and like I said, there'll also be plenty more in the years to come. Next section I would like to highlight is the average time in tech roles. So tech professionals basically change jobs roughly every 3 to 4 years, averaging about 5.3 job changes over a 20-year period. So professionals who change jobs 6 to 9 times over their careers show the highest earning potential, with the average salary reaching around $142,000. Then also those with frequent job changes, meaning 10 or more times, they saw a decline in their salary from those changing those jobs that many times. So when it comes to changing jobs, like I said, a lot of times some people may frown upon it, but it's one of those things where a couple of years ago, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was all about you getting in at a company, you stand there and you retire from that company. But then a couple of years ago, things started to shift. Things started to change where a lot of times, especially in the tech world, people started realizing that, okay, I'm staying at this one company and I'm getting this 2-3% raise every year. But then I can also leave out, go somewhere else, and pretty much increase my salary a little bit quicker. And a lot of times that's what ended up happening. So as someone, once you get into this industry, you get your experience up. So where now you have became a valuable asset to any company. So now where most people, instead of staying at that company until they retire, a lot of people, what they end up doing is taking a jump to where, okay, I've been in my position for about 3 years. Okay, I'm ready to move up. Let's say that the job I'm at don't offer me what I'm looking for if I try to move up. So a lot of times we start to look outside of our job. And then a lot of times, one of the things I learned is a lot of times the budgets is usually bigger for a job to pull you in than it is for a job to move you up from within. So a lot of times that's why you see a lot of people start to switch jobs because, okay, I can go switch this job and get this $10,000 or $15,000 salary increase, as to where if I moved up from within, it may only be a $6,000 or $7,000 increase. So a lot of times that makes a big difference. So a lot of people, like I said, and also from the studies it shows, so the people that switch jobs on average about 5 to 6 times within their career, like I said, they made the greatest income because, like I said, most of the time you can switch jobs and get that high salary bump fairly quickly instead of staying at that particular job and moving up from within. Now, on the other side of that, if you're at a particular company and you like that company, ain't nothing wrong with just staying there. You know, that's totally okay. You learn your job. You might move or switch positions here and there. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But then also moving jobs that do give you the ability to see different environments and pretty much increase your skill level because you're going from different networking environments, going to a new environment, have to learn that environment, have to learn the tools that they're using. So overall, it's going to build you up a little bit faster because you're seeing different things rather than standing at one spot and moving up. But either way is fine. But like I said, from the study here, a lot of people have started to switch jobs very often in order to get that salary increase and to get the highest salary as possible. Because at the end of the day, at either job, you're still working the 8, 10, 12 hours. So you might as well get paid the most for those 8, 10, or 12 hours. Quick pause. I hope you're enjoying this episode. I'd like to introduce you to the Log Files. The Log Files is a weekly newsletter to help you start your IT career with practical advice and tips, powered by yours truly. So we launched it at the beginning of the year. It's packed with actionable advice, resources, and insights to kickstart your IT journey. The link is in the description as well as pinned in the comments. So don't miss out. Now back to the episode. So another part of this report I would like to highlight is the possession of technical certifications by years of experience. So basically DICE had this broken down by 0 to 3 years of experience and what was the highest percentage of the ones that was surveyed, what certifications they had. Then also they had from 4 to 7 years of experience, then from 8 to 10 years of experience. So when looking at all of the certifications of that IT professionals had according to their years of experience, basically from 0 to 10 years of experience, there was 3 certifications that stood out that had the most people or the highest percentage for each one of those categories. So those 3 certifications was AWS certifications, Security Plus, and A Plus. And then actually when you think about it, it makes sense because within the past couple of years, we all know that, okay, first of all, security has become a big deal in the IT industry. So a lot of folks have started going after that Security Plus. A lot of folks getting out of the military. A lot of times this is the first certification they go and get, the Security Plus. So the Security Plus, like I say, it's a government-backed certification. It's from CompTIA. And also CompTIA is the same one that makes the A Plus, which also makes sense also because a lot of times if someone is trying to get into the industry, one of the first certs they come upon or the first certification they get introduced to is the A plus. And we have had a lot of people trying to transition from their old careers to get into an IT career or a tech career. So that pretty much makes sense. And then also the last one with AWS. So AWS, as we all know, the cloud has become real popular. You do have other clouds out there, other cloud vendors, other cloud services such as Azure with Microsoft. Google has one their own cloud service. So, but AWS was one of the top ones. And I like to say that this was also, it wasn't a surprise because when you look at the training for a lot of those cloud certifications, AWS has put a lot of information out on their training. Some of it, their first certification is even free, where it's free to learn it. So then also they have video games built around their certification. So they have a lot of things built around their certification that makes it easier for someone to go from zero to getting certified. So even though some of the other places have their certifications are cheap too when it comes to their cloud product, but I think AWS seem to have put a lot of funding behind getting this certification out there, getting the AWS cloud out there. As you all see, like I said, you see AWS cloud more than anything else, even though, like I said, a lot of places utilize Microsoft, a lot of places may utilize Google and things like that. But it wasn't any surprise that these three certifications was the top three from the percentages that it showed from folks from 0 to 10 years of experience. So there was a lot of other certifications in there, but some of the other certifications, if you think about it, we take the CCNA. A lot of times someone may get introduced from the CCNA is because they want to go into a networking route, which right now networking ain't the sexy thing. So security, that's the sexy thing. So that gets all the advertisement. When have you seen anything advertised about networking? So you don't really see that, even though networking is the foundation of a lot of these other certifications. So a lot of times if you don't know the network, it's hard to learn the security aspect, especially when we talk about network security. But there's a networking part in every one of these certifications. So networking, like I said, I always like to describe it. Networking is your foundation. And then after you get that foundation right, you start building on top of it with these other certifications. But AWS, Security Plus, and A Plus was the top three most held certifications for IT professionals ranging from 0 to 10 years of experience. And then the next section I would like to highlight was the average bonus for tech professionals. So this is something that your boy ain't never seen. You know, I ain't never seen no bonus. I ain't never worked for a public traded company. I always worked for nonprofits or education system where you don't really see those things. So I thought it was neat to just highlight this section because the average bonus for tech professionals in 2024 was roughly around $14,194. So like I said, this is one hell of a bonus. So like I said, the average tech professionals, they do get bonuses, especially if you're working somewhere where your company is a profit company, a for-profit company, meaning that if you're working for a company and that company has a ticker symbol, 9 times out of 10, that company is in the game to make money. So a lot of times I know some of my friends work for different companies, and I have heard of these type of numbers when it comes to bonuses. But yeah, this is something your boy ain't never had a chance to see. So hopefully sometime before I get out the game, I get a chance to see one of these bonuses. But the average tech bonus for a IT professional in 2024 was roughly around $14,194. So the last section I would like to highlight is the salaries according to the skill. So basically, Dice went down and broke down a lot of different skills within the industry and listed the average salary for someone having this skill. So the first thing that came in first, and I never even heard of this, I just got to be truthful. You know, I had to go and do my Googles, but the top skill that came in was service-oriented architecture, SOA. This came in at roughly $152,026. So this was the number one. And basically, when I had to go and do my Googles, you know what I'm saying, I went through and found out that this is a software design method that uses reusable components to create applications. So like I said, if you're in the software design realm, if that's you, if you're going down that route, This might be a skill that you want to learn about, or a skill that you may want to pick up, or it may be a skill you're already using. And I just didn't know about it because I'm not in the software world. So I'm mostly in the hardware, networking, things like that. Hands-on, things like that. I'm in that world. I haven't crossed through that software world yet, which I hope to get there soon, but I haven't made that cross yet. And then I'm just going to go down the list and list some of the skills I picked out that I think most of my audience is probably familiar with, and list at some of their average salaries. So I'm just going to go down a quick list here. So starting with cloud computing, roughly came in at $122,796. And then the next thing was Juniper, which came in roughly at $122,749. And then the next one was Splunk, that came in at roughly about $121,944. Then we get the virtualization, which roughly came in at about $119,727. And then we get the Linux. You know, I always say Linux is everywhere. So Linux roughly came in at $119,201. Then we get the Python. Python was roughly about $117,589. And then we get the cybersecurity, which was roughly about $113,997. Then we get to routing, which was roughly about $113,213. Then network information security was roughly about $111,785. And last, you know, I had to put Cisco on there. So Cisco came in roughly at $109,162. So no matter which skill you're going for, a lot of times, once you get that experience, once you get your resume beefy, like one of my homeboys used to say, once you get that skill set, get that resume up, a lot of times you can go in and garner these same average salaries. So it just shows you what is there to reach for. So like I said, if you're just starting out in your career, a lot of times most of us may start out, depending on your area, in that 50,000 range, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000. But then you start working your way up to seeing these six-figure numbers. And then one day you'll look back and you'll realize that, damn, I came a long way. So, like I said, just some of the things I wanted to highlight from this report. Again, I appreciate the folks at Dice for putting together this report. Looking forward for the one for next year. So that brings me to the end of this episode. Hopefully you found some value in this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, you can follow me at Debt Free in IT. If you have any questions, you can email me at debtfreeinit@gmail.com, or you can visit my website at debtfreeinitwithmike.com. Other than that, I'll see you next week. Peace.